Welcome back to the Flogsville podcast. It is the round 6 wrap, and joining me, we've just got two coaches tonight, but we'll introduce Tom first. Tom, Coach of Phenomenal, is here. Hello, Tom.
Thanks, Scott. 50-50 chance there, and good to be introed first, and we're away.
We are away, and our other coach is, of course, Coach of the Guns N' Roses, aka Mr. Number 16. Ben Bullymore, fresh off a Melbourne trip. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm well. I am actually fresh, which is a little bit surprising considering the weekend's usually in Melbourne. But no, it was a successful trip, which I'm sure we'll get to with a few of the coaches in the league in attendance as well. So no, all going well and ready to get into it. So.
Excellent, boys. All right, well, let's start with yourself, Ben, because once again, you were Pig of the Week, coming home hard late on that Sunday afternoon game down in Tasmania, down at Pig Park. Callum Mills just took the piss, really. A massive score for yourself, mate. A 22-35, and what was quite a difficult round, boys, with a few premiums sort of underperforming, and there was one or two injuries there as well, but nailing that captain score with 162, mate. Talk us through, firstly, your decision to bring in Callum Mills from the unfortunate news of Tim English going down, who'd been such a great pick for yourself and those coaches. And then, yeah, the decision not to take Jack Steele's 110 and go for it.
Yeah, Millsy was high on the radar last week at team selection. He was in prior to English news and he was in after English news. So, yeah, just a bit of a fix-up with the other players. But, yeah, I guess playing the easiest team at the best fantasy venue in the world, you know, a bit of a successful sort of formula there. And, you know, we certainly weren't expecting, you know, 160s of the world, but sort of thought that 120, 130 was possible for Callum. And, yeah, watching him live at the Crown Casino for the first half was very enjoyable. And, yeah, when we left towards the Anzac Day game, he continued to pile on the points for us. So, no, very, very happy with his start. And to be honest, didn't think we'd get there with Zach Butters and Luke Foley producing 59 points between them for 4 games, which was, yeah, extraordinary to watch in a bad way. But, no, apart from that, everything sort of went into place. And, yeah, lucky to beat Dale in the end. I'm sure we'll get to that a bit later, but he had a really good week. Got really unlucky with a couple of his big players, big Bulldogs. So, yeah, certainly wasn't easy, but very happy with Callum. So,
all right, outstanding, mate. Anything to add there, Tom?
Very even contribution across the board. And you mentioned, Ben, Callum Mills at the best fantasy scoring ground in the universe. Being a non-Heaney owner as well, you would have been pleased with that. Probably one of the rare ones inside the top 100, which, yeah, again, is probably a one that you benefited from greatly on the weekend.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Tom. You've certainly done your research. He's a highly owned player in those high teams, but so is Lachie Neale. So I was really, really pleased that he was doing sweet FA by 3/4 time and really, yeah, saved his scoring away, scoring 40 on that last. So, yeah, but, you know, the likes of Bailey Smith and McRae and even Keys to an extent, not really going over 100 for any of them, which are, you know, usually a 120 or 30, one of those guys. So, but yeah, no, things keep rolling nicely.
Excellent, mate, and we're right behind you as always. So we'll move on now to Spud of the Week, and it was once again total Crips of the Heart, boys, with a 1904. Not much for you happened in 1904. The big one for me was that Dr. Seuss was born in 1904. So fantastic. What is he, an author? I don't know. What is Dr. Seuss? Anyway, that's really about it from my research. The Wright brothers built the second aircraft, I believe, the Flyer 2. That's really all I've got. So 1904 was a bit disappointing, like Daniel's score, boys.
Absolutely. No excuses from Heels on the weekend either. He I have it on good authority that he was shacked up in Horsham with the Rona, with nowhere to go. So, yeah, obviously confined to a bedroom interstate. He'd gone on a fishing trip, I'm led to believe. And, yeah, obviously didn't spend that time in his room focused on fantasy. I'm not sure what he was focused on, but, yeah, very disappointing score from his boys on the weekend.
Some good sources there, Tom. Some excellent sourcing. We love that here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think his season-long keepers here in Duncan, Lloyd and Taranto really didn't help him. 65, 83 and 72 for those three, which is well under par. But, yeah, looking at that midfield, it's just not producing much at all with just the 100 and, you know, still with the likes of Rao and those types. So, yeah, we've done a lot this year, unfortunately, for Hills, but, yeah, a lot of work to do.
Yeah, it seems that way, boys. All right, let's move on to our first matchup of round 6, and it was, of course, the Crouching Lions with a disappointing score. The way Brett's been going, and he just got over the line of King Kunta, boys.
Yeah, absolutely. Couple of uniques for Brett that have gone massive for him, that really got him across the line. Looking at the likes of Short and Cripps in particular. Yeah, whereas I guess on King Kunta's side, a lot of contributors, but yeah, no one apart from Gawn really going massive beyond that, yeah, sort of 110 mark. So looks like that's where it's been won and lost for Brett there. And yeah, again, we see some of those names that we've mentioned previously in Foley, Rochelle and Hobbs, yeah, not quite producing what he would have hoped, Brett. So, yeah, lucky to get away with the win there.
Yeah, I think one last thing to touch on here is the captaincy. Here he's got the vice captain on Dunkley. So not taking that has effectively cost him the game, which is pretty, yeah, unfortunately, those attention to detail type areas are not the strong suit of King Kunta. So, you know, it was as simple as that. Could have got in the win, but I think for Brett, this is a really fortunate win, considering some of the other scores going around, and he sort of hangs in at 5-1 there in the top 4. So we of course know how dangerous he is in the back half, but wins like this just sort of keeps rolling. So, but yeah, Luke Foley will be a name I'm sure he's eager to get rid of as other.
Yes, excellent, boys. Yeah, El Foley, looking at that game, but unfortunately didn't get to go to that game. But just looking at the score, it was hard to believe that he scored so low. So I'm sure as owners, you guys felt that. All right, let's move on. It's fortunate that Rabs is in KI this week, because Hoffleberry FC got a 9-point victory, boys, over the Rabbitohs in what was a real upset. Surge taking the win. Now, he has requested that we talk about Scott Pendlebury, which is bizarre because he only scored 85. So he's just really underperforming what he should do. He's great. He's old. We get it. He's DPP, but he's not but we're talking about him. Yes, well done. He scored the points that you needed, but really, yeah, I don't know. What else we meant to say? Like he's been okay as a pick, but
I'd like to talk about one moment in the game where he, received a handball, stopped, propped, looked around for an option, as he has done several hundreds of times in his career, only to be mown down from behind. And I feel that's really indicative of, where he's going as a sort of fantasy player. Again, on this occasion, he has scored the points that Surge required to get the win over Rabs. And Rabs' absence this week is notable. However, I'm not sure, I guess, longer term that Pendlebury is going to be a permanent fixture there for Surge.
Watching him live,
What
were your thoughts, mate? Sorry.
No, you're right. I was just going to make something else was noticeable from Rabs' side, and that was Took Miller instead of Bailey Smith. I believe that was a trade last week, and trade hadn't been made, Rabs wouldn't have lost. So, interesting times there at the Rabbitohs. Not sure if KI had anything to do with that or what the go was, but no, watching. I think the question there was watching live. Yeah, he was just really, I don't know, just doing his job. He Scott we're talking about here. He went into the last quarter, went in the middle last quarter, and got some centre bounces for him, some clearances. But yeah, that's unfortunately, I get extra points for those. So, but yeah, no, watching another man live who's got a unique here is Jaden Short, and he was everywhere, just running a mark, and Melbourne could kick through the side of a barn. So he was getting all the kickouts, and along with Dan Houston, he had a huge game. Somehow got the win. So good work for Serge. But yeah, costly, I think, for Rabs. We might come back to this one at the end of the year where it might cost him a spot, but he's still tracking it out. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge win for Serge. Just we'll wait and see if this catapults his season. But yeah, disappointing for Rabs. But we move on, boys. It was Team GC getting their first victory. Team Goldenchild, of course, getting the job done in the end over the Sisterhoods. A huge win for Zach with some of his guys going really well. Unfortunate for the Sisterhoods here on the end of a Zach Butters as a pod, boys, really.
Yeah, there's a bit to write home about. The one thing I can notice straight away is Zach has taken the vice captaincy score, which is
I know.
Been paying long odds to do at the start of the weekend, but impressive that he has taken some feedback on board. And Jai Newcomb, that's the new name.
Yeah,
I can tell. So, he's been really impressive for the Hawks. So, but yeah, on the Sisterhood side, the likes of Rochelle on field, and as you mentioned, Butters, who had the shits and would have given the Sisterhood the shits, I think. So, costly loss. They was building some nice momentum, I think, but this might be a little bit of a handbrake, but I'm sure they'll respond. But yeah, big for Zach, and just goes to show that a little bit of attention to detail, and he can actually get some wins. So well done.
Again, another side that brought in Smith on the weekend as well, Bailey Smith. So yeah, I'm sure that they won't be too pleased with that result there and a 92 from him.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's move on, boys, to our next matchup. Do you think, just a quick one on Zach taking, do you think because Jack Steele was playing in Canberra, that's why he took the VC? I don't know. Maybe he can answer that question. Just a coincidence, really.
Yeah, hard to answer, but you'd have to say there's some sort of correlation there.
Yeah, there's something in that. Fenno, you had it looks like it was real danger signs for you on Sunday up against the midfielders who are looking to take their second big scalp of the year, but you narrowly got the job done, mate. Talk us through your win on the weekend.
Yeah, very concerned after obviously Jaden Short going massive, followed by Heaney's poor performance, or I guess spending a lot of time up forward, 0 CBAs, I think it was, for him down in Tassie. So, yeah, a bit disappointing. Quite nervous heading into the last game with Hobbs and Crisp needing to, I guess, outscore Caldwell and Lipinski. Fortunately, Lipinski and Caldwell didn't quite, turn up on Anzac Day for the midfielders. So I was able to, run away with it with a handy 46 from Hobbs. Another good Horsham product. Another fleet out of Horsham. So, joining the likes of Jake Lloyd and Tom and Jared Berry, Deb Ross. Quite a few out of Horsham now that are going well. So, fortunate to get the win on the weekend, I think.
Yeah, now you've won by 16 points here, Tom. And as crisp as a unique, that passage of play where he kicked handball and goal in the second quarter, which really blew the lid off the G, let me tell you. Was that the play that really got you over the line in the end, do you think? That total was about 60.
Definitely blew the lid off Unit 3 door not caught Morara as well. So I was really enjoying his work there. Bit of run and dash, and goal from 50 was great.
No, I agree. It's Old Beach Road here. It blew up here. The sisterhoods were up and about as well. It was just give and go, and I'm sure, Ben, you would have been give it back to him, and then he slotted it.
Oh,
unbelievable!
Yeah, unbelievable. Shades of Anzac Day a few years ago. Him and the great man, but unfortunately, the great man finished that day. But yeah, this time it was Jack's turn, and first goal for the year, I think. Having a look at his stats, so what a time to get that. So yeah, there you go. What a time to get one. All right, let's move on, boys. We've got the Burpenberg Burdens with an impressive win up against the Keys here, lads. Talk us through, obviously, spending the weekend with Brad. Ben, how was he feeling going into this matchup? Really sort of just, take care of business type attitude from over the weekend. As you can see, the uniques, only 5 uniques, 5 turning up in comparison to none for the Keys. And being live for Petrarca's 24-point first half was something that really, let the Burtons, have a few more CCs and really enjoy his victory before the finish line as per se. So, brought in Laird, your man Tom, he was pretty happy with that selection and topped off by watching Short finish off for him. So no real sort of panic stations for him outside of his captain for Burton.
Jake would be disappointed with that. Obviously, a very promising start to the season. The last couple of weeks, he's gone off the boil a little bit. So, hoping he can maintain his form and, continue to trade in the right manner to make sure he makes that top 8.
Absolutely, and great hold for Brad and those coaches that held Paddy Cripps as well, and he came back and delivered with a 123, boys. Sensational.
Yeah, three snags in the second half. Yeah, that was just, glorious. But
all right, boys. Let's.
No concerns with that flight to Perth, I reckon. That was pretty.
No, it was able to stretch out.
It was good to get the expert's opinion.
Yeah, it was actually. Yeah. Great advice. All right, let's. We talked about Heels with his shocking week, but let's talk about Newley. We've noticed the effort that he's put in this year. He's looking to bounce back, and the Glen Madden Fan Club boys with one of the higher scores this week with a nice 21-24.
Yeah, as we've touched on, a lot of uniques for I was going to say Glenn, but it's actually Sean. In his one Zach Williams, which I have noticed, which is I really enjoy that selection.
I don't enjoy the score.
Only 62. That's pretty standard for Zach, but no, lots of no Anderson as unique in the midfield there for him. Going Walsh with the captaincy 2 weeks in a row, I think. Really. With the likes of Clayton as well, and McCluggage, which is, I think, a new inclusion. So, Zach Bailey kicking 4 goals in the first half. That would have really excited him. But, he's had a really good week and looking pretty good for that. So.
Yeah, he's managed to get quite a few rookies off the field just by, really going after some of those mid-priced or just sub-premium players in Rioli and Williams in the midfield, McCluggage. Really sort of interesting team, and had a big week this week, which was good.
Yeah, just got to applaud Newley, really. Gresham and Anderson, starting with both of them, they're starting to really hit their stride. Gresham especially, is his last 3 or 4 weeks, he's been super consistent, which the same can't be said for some of those forwards in that forward line as well. So, excellent stuff from Newley. Another win for him. He's looking good. And speaking of looking good, Ben, we've touched on your matchup. You got the job done against the B-Sharps. But, boys, let's just talk about Dale's team. A much improved performance from the B-Sharps this week. What really stood out?
Well, he brought Keys in for Rao, so that was big alarm bells early in the weekend, especially early in that game. But yeah, like guys like Luke Ryan almost punting up, which is, I did have a look at his stats because I haven't seen his name much this year, and I'll give you that too. He hasn't done that much this year, but but no, Doherty, really nice selection in the back line, and as I said, leading into Monday, I really thought Dale would win. So perhaps he score and one or two others, really the difference. But if he's putting those sort of performances up, he'll certainly win more than he loses moving forward.
Absolutely, boys. Riley O'Brien, nice to see him turn up for Dale as well. Let's move on to my matchup up against Hugh, which was, these last two matchups were certainly touted as matches of the round, and just a few of my boys just doing a little bit extra to get the job done. Unfortunate for Hugh, another side that had Bailey Smith as captain this week. Whereas, I was able to cash in on Max Gawn against Richmond and bringing in Clayton Oliver, who I sort of was looking at all week to try and bring in for Matt Crouch, but it turned out to be Tim English was nice. Hugh sort of had a bit of a sniff there when Isaac Heaney was on about 30 at three-quarter time. But no, even, DeGoey and Grundy going pretty well. I just managed to do enough. But, definitely no panic stations there. It's, my God, your Liberatore, boys. He's in a good spot.
Yeah, obviously some of his premiums there be quite disappointed with, especially his doggies, old Hugh. So, I'm sure he'll bounce back next week. Josh Kelly showing some signs there as well of what he's capable of. So hopefully he can continue an upward trend in his form. I'm sure he'll be back. Hugh.
Watching that Bulldogs game with him, Tom, it wasn't the only thing that he was disappointed about. Obviously losing to the Crows by a point. Could say it didn't go down overly well in CV Downs here. But I think, maybe a lesson, he's been top four and just dropped out now, but, having Smith as straight captain as opposed to vice captain and looping being the second game of the round, probably comes back to bite him in this situation, saying that, losing by 80 points is probably not the capacity there. But, bit of a luxury for him. He moved on Crouch to DeGoey and really gained by doing that. So if there was something better he maybe could have done, but I guess, we'll move on. There's a big topic I'm sure we'll get to. And, then you see how that sort of changes things. So,
all right, let's talk about that topic, Ben. We've got Sam getting the job done over Liam, and you've got to tell us what happened on the weekend with these two.
A lot of back and forth, a bit of a resembled tennis match at times. When we did actually get into Melbourne after missing our flight and caught up with the two respective coaches, the Crips, they were very much down in the dumps, not giving much hope. And then there was a lot of sort of I wasn't sure if it was the Crowns or the whatever it was, but there's a lot of positive talking going on from the McRae's sort of. Top two, and I'll have that top spot ball and all that sort of areas. And to be fair, 12 points at the end of the day, watching, Mulesey's boy, really, Jai Caldwell, only deliver a 64 and to go down by 12. It's pretty heartbreaking. He's put a lot of faith and time into Jai, and unfortunately hasn't rewarded him. So, there's no doubt that the McRae's are rolling. There was some sort of comment about, my premiums not needing to score 100 to win these days when Neil was on 50 at three-quarter time, which I found quite interesting. But in the end, that 40-point quarter for him really got it done. So, as he well told me over the weekend, he's 6-0 and looking really good. So.
Yeah, fantastic stuff there, mate. We love that insight from the weekend. And it's ticked over. We've got a 10-minute warning, guys. It's like the old Channel 10 coverage. We'll have a 5-minute warning too. So let's crack on to our matchups this week. Really quickly, we'll pick out a couple of good ones, and then we'll just sort of get a prediction for those not so good matchups. Crouching Lions up against the Rabbitohs, boys. Let's talk about this one because this, on paper, 3rd versus 7th, really looks the goods.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the uniques as well, which is quite rare. A lot of them are some of the rookies as well. Oftentimes we see uniques being the premiums, but it looks like it'll be decided by the likes of O'Driscoll, Sherry if he remains on field, and Hobbs and Rochelle, Foley as well. So it'll be interesting to see what those guys do during the week and whether they can move some of those rookies off field for premium upgrades.
Yeah, pivotal week for the Rabbitohs after losing last week, and by all sources is going away again this weekend. So it's interesting to see how that preparation goes for them. Matt Rao is a real question mark in this matchup, and based on that, probably have to favour Brett, but. It's a strange one. Both teams sort of underperforming last week, and they're better than what they produced. So,
Jaden Short up against West Coast on Friday night looms as a pod for Brett. So I'm sort of leaning towards him at this stage. All right, quick word on King Kunta up against the Sisterhoods, boys. Both teams suffering narrowish losses and looking to bounce back. Who do we see getting on top here really quickly?
Must win for the Sisterhoods, I think. A couple of disappointing losses back to back, and I think they're a better team than that. So I'm backing them in, but obviously another forced trade this week with the big Brody in the ruck. Be interesting to see what sort of cash they can do and play around with, but I'll be backing them in.
Yeah, a bit of panic stations with a lot of the rookies sort of going down in previous weeks, and I think that'll be across the board this week as well, with the likes of McInnes, McCartan as well. For those who haven't traded him out, those guys will either be missing or have a question mark over their head, as well as a few of those ones like Durden, which popular again across the league. So throw in the Brodie Grundy news. Trade's going to be vital this week, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure does. All right, another quick word. Hoffelberry FC up against the Midfielders, boys. Let's give Serge a bit of credit. Nice win on the weekend up against the Rabbitohs. I want to see him back it up this week, so I'm going Hoffelberry FC.
Yeah, geez. Matt Cottrell, that's a really unique name I'm seeing from the Hoffelberries. I've just actually clicked onto that, so wow, what's he doing there? Anyway, I don't know. Let's back the mids. Why not? Bonnie.
Yeah, I'll go the mids.
Excellent. All right, let's move on to our next matchup. Team GC looking for 2 in a row, boys. I'm going to go the Burtons. I think will just be too good. Dangerous game though. Danger game.
Yeah, I'll go the triple Bs, I think. One win. I think Zach's probably got carried away. I saw earlier on Instagram that he's traded himself to a new Big Bertha. So if he gets any more wins, he might be splashing some cash. So might be a bit carried away this week on the golf course, I think.
A lot of TMZ out this weekend. But triple Bs here as well.
Very good. All right, Fenno, you're up against Sean this week, which should be a pretty close matchup. What do we think? Obviously, Tom, you believe your team will win. Ben, what do you think is going to happen here?
No, I'll be backing Fenno. I've just been doing a little bit of research here, and it would appear as if Phenomenal have had the second easiest run of the competition. So just a little bit of research and just sort of seeing where things are at, but. Based on that, which has no relevance to this game, but I don't know. Some dangerous players on the mountains. I think yeah, the types likes of Gawn and McRae will bounce back and produce some pretty big scores for you, Tom. So I think you'll be victorious. But yeah, just something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, noted. I've been very lucky so far. And I think that's evident when you look at the points scored for. Yeah, probably one or two matchups that I shouldn't have so far. So yeah, this one I think is a real danger one. Again, we've been through Sean's unique, so yeah, we'll see how it plays out.
Excellent. All right, the Keys up against the B Sharps. Just quickly, boys, quick prediction.
Sharps.
Keys.
Excellent. Total Eclipse of the Heart up against My God, Your Liberatore. Hugh to bounce back. Absolutely lock that in, fellas. You agree?
Agreed.
Agree. Has a bit of time this week to think about last weekend. He's in isolation at the moment, so we send our well wishes. But yeah, he'll bounce back.
He'll bounce back. Absolutely. Two great matchups yet again at the bottom here. We've got your boys, Ben, up against the Smiths Croops. What do we see happening this week? Can we see an upset?
I feel like Ben's a little bit like Melbourne at the moment, just sort of travelling along and getting win after win. You just feel like a loss is something that could be around the corner. Yeah, all eyes will be on the trades here, but I think Ben's uniques are probably a little bit more reliable in Brayshaw, Steele and Mills. So I'm back in the Guns N' Roses again this week.
Yeah, I have to agree there. It'll be interesting to see what Liam can do. As we alluded to, Caldwell just not getting it done for him. So, yeah, it'll be interesting what both coaches do with Grundy and also other issues. Ben, any words on that matchup?
Not a great deal. I was having a little bit of communication with the great man after the round just been. And, Caldwell was firmly in his plans, but that was without the Grundy news. So, I don't think there's a heap of spare cash from what I can tell. So it'll be interesting to see what he can make do of Caldwell. Because I think he'll be going to a certain person, which a lot of other coaches will be too, I think. So
yeah, and with the news today that Luke Jackson is not playing, Max on his own against Hawthorn. Wow, could be anything. So all right, let's move on to, well, I reckon it's match of the round because me and Sam is second, obviously hasn't lost a game. I'm in sixth, so I'm sort of working my way into the season after a shocking round one. So what do you guys see happening this week?
I really enjoy the match of the round me time sort of areas from yourself there, Commissioner.
It's a good matchup.
I love the confidence, but I have to agree, Sam, the second highest scorers for the year, and yourself, Scotty, fourth. So absolute juggernauts, offensive juggernauts coming into this one. It's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, Sam has Grundy to deal with, which you don't, Scotty, at this stage. So that's going to go in your favour. But I think I'll be back with yourself, Scott. I think, just a little bit too much head wobble for mine from the parents over the weekend. And I think a loss is imminent. So no better test against you, Scotty.
Yeah, I like the confidence of yourself, Scott. Again, that Grundy, I'm going to deal with that. I think that'll allow you to hopefully make a nice little upgrade, which, will get you across the line. So I'm going with the Sarongs this week.
Excellent, boys. Well, that just about does it. We've got the 1 minute warning here on Zoom, so we will wrap it up. Fantastic to not have another Thursday night game, just to digest the teams. It gives you a bit of extra time. It was, very grateful for that last week, and good luck to everyone, and go well. Enjoy the footy if you're heading down. I'll be at the Giants Crows game, so lots of fantasy relevance there to look forward to. So enjoy that. All right, fellas, good luck, and see ya.